Hello and welcome back to the Pinili podcast. Let's speak about a topic that I'm sure we all experience all of the time: procrastination. And the reason I was actually going to record a different episode for this week, but the reason why I wanted to record this episode is because I've been having so many conversations about, and it's coming up quite a bit inside my membership, Woman Mastery HQ membership, which, by the way, we are down our first month inside the membership. And if you're watching this, you can see how much I'm smiling. It is the most incredible membership ever. Support, coaching, workshopping, mentorship, calls, audits, feedback. It is incredible. Whether you're a brand founder, business owner, you're a corporate woman wanting to pivot, there is literally no reason you should not be inside the membership. It's all about building a buyer-ready audience whilst dissolving the fear of visibility. And today's episode, I have been having conversations with some of the members and on our weekly calls around this topic. And I thought, I'm going to make an episode about it because I think it's important. I have done episodes on procrastination before, but this is an updated version. So if you want to have more conversations like this, plus actually get the support to work through all of this when it comes to your business, your career, something you're building, definitely get inside Woman Mastery HQ membership. But let's get straight into it. As always, I have my notes so I don't miss anything. Let's make sure I can see them. But have you ever thought to yourself, just think this for a moment, why do I keep putting things off when I actually want to move forward? Why do I keep scrolling on my phone when I know I should post that piece of content for my business? Or instead of getting ready for the pitch to potentially get a pay rise or to be promoted at my career, why do I all of a sudden find myself busy every single night? I'm going to dinner with friends, or I'm doing the laundry. I'm doing anything but working on the pitch. Do you ever ask yourself this? Because I definitely have. We're all guilty. Everyone that is listening or watching this episode, we all have reasons to procrastinate. And to put it in a nutshell, procrastination is self-protection. When you procrastinate, you are protecting yourself from something that your body, your nervous system is perceiving as danger. And I have written some notes around the psychology of procrastination to give a good rundown so nothing is missed. But please remember, your brain and your body is doing exactly what it is wired to do, to protect you. So you're not motivated. You're not lazy. You don't need more motivation. I meant to say, you probably don't need more discipline. You might need more focus. I will say that, sometimes we need to actually alter our focus or understand what we're focusing on. But at the root of it, I think people try and push through procrastination by, okay, I just need to be motivated more, or I will post more content next week, or I will do this when. It's always when. But when you understand what I'm about to share with you today and a really simple way to begin to work through procrastination, you will understand that your body is just doing its job. It's protecting you from what you perceive as danger. So the brain is wired for two things. It's wired for, number one, survival, helping you survive, and number two, efficiency. So being able to minimize having to think and do a lot of things. And so it cuts out a lot of the noise unconsciously to make things efficient for you. Any new action, any change, I said this to my members this week on our call, change is dysregulating. I just want to put that as a side note because I think that sometimes change is propped up on a pedestal on social media, like this spectacular, magnificent thing. Once the change is established and that becomes your new capacity, that becomes your baseline, of course it's great because that's what you've been working towards. But remember, at the beginning of it, change is dysregulating. And so when we take action that is going to inevitably allow us to change who we are, our results, our opportunities, our success, the brain is going to do what it can to stop that and to pump the brakes. This is a form of self-sabotage. I just recently did an episode that you guys loved on self-sabotage. So if you haven't watched that, definitely go and watch or listen to that. And so this is an extension of a way that we procrastinate. A way that we self-sabotage. And the brain is doing it because whatever you are taking action towards, whether it is posting content for your business, a pitch for a promotion, going to the gym consistently to lose weight, investing money to build up your investments or your wealth, if it's brand new, if it's an action you haven't been taking and it's a different thing and it's going to get you a different result to what you are currently experiencing, then yes, you are going to find yourself procrastinating. It doesn't matter how self-aware you are. And in fact, awareness can be something that is such a disservice. This is why I always say, don't aim just to be self-aware, because when you are just self-aware, you understand. And maybe right now listening or watching this, you're like, yeah, I know I procrastinate this or that. That does nothing. That is not going to help you. And so what I teach you today and what I share with you is going to help you move into a state of conscious awareness. When you are consciously aware and you're taking the time to tune into your body and to understand what is actually happening when it comes to procrastination, that is how you are able to effectively change. So when you think about doing something big, whether it's sending a pitch, launching a podcast, raising your prices, starting a new relationship, or starting dating after a long period off, what starts to happen is your brain automatically, unconsciously starts to run a risk assessment. And so it is assessing how risky is this? And we're going to go into it, but I'm going to share with you 3 things that it does when it comes to the risk assessment. But remember, it's assessing, basically, to put it so simply, is this change and is it going to change what we've been doing every day? And the answer is yes. So it sees it as a risk. 3 things to keep in mind. So we've got the pain versus pleasure. The limbic system scans, will this bring me pain or will this bring me pleasure? If there's a chance of rejection, embarrassment, or failure, the brain is going to tag it as pain. So think about the thing that has popped into your mind as I've been speaking. Posting content, going for the raise, starting dating. What comes up? Is there a chance that you could be embarrassed, you could be rejected, misunderstood, perceived in a light that you don't want to be perceived in? Then the brain is automatically, without you probably knowing, and this is why we need to move into a conscious awareness, tagging it as pain. Even if logically, and this is the self-awareness, logically you know that's going to bring you growth and success, but now it's about understanding why has the brain tagged it as pain, which is creating this disconnect of me moving forward. So again, it's not necessarily that you need to find more discipline in your day or you need to be the most motivated person in the room. It's about understanding why has my brain tagged what I'm about to do, insert action, as pain. Then number 2, we've got the cognitive load. So the prefrontal cortex, which handles all of your decision making, gets overloaded when there are too many moving parts. Remember, the brain is wired for efficiency. And so if there are too many moving parts, it's going to get overloaded. I put here, that's why you scroll Instagram instead of mapping out a sales funnel. That's why you spend 2 hours on TikTok justifying and telling yourself that you're looking for inspiration when you really need to be on your stories selling. That's why instead of going for that promotion and finishing off the pitch deck, you find yourself baking all of a sudden. Or all of a sudden, you need to finish the laundry. All of a sudden, you need to catch up with that friend or FaceTime that friend. 2 hours has gone by and now it's bedtime and you haven't moved towards it. And then, of course, we have the guilt and the shame spiral that begins because it's like you tell yourself that you know better. And I get this with high achievers, high performers. We find ourselves in these spirals and the overthinking and feeling really guilty. And sometimes I know I have definitely felt this where I've felt this sense of shame. Like I know better. I know what I needed to do. Why couldn't I just push through? Always remember, if it's anything you take away from this episode, it's understanding the brain is trying to avoid the perceived pain of rejection, disappointment, being misunderstood, etc. And so the brain is, going back to the cognitive load, the brain chooses always the easiest, the most low effort activity. Because what is it wired for? Efficiency. So of course, why would it choose to finish off the sales funnel when you can sit on the couch and scroll on Instagram and tell yourself, I'll do it in an hour, or justify, you know what, it's been a really long week. I can do this tomorrow. It's not that important. Like, start to understand and hear. Something I teach inside my membership is understanding your patterns, your pattern loops, how they are actually attached to your behavior and your thoughts. Because it's, again, all well and good to go, I know I'm procrastinating. I know I shouldn't be scrolling on TikTok or Instagram, but understand how that gets activated. Is it every single moment that you go to sell your services, or every single moment you go to do something to move forward in your health and fitness, something comes up? Like, what is the low effort, easy activity that is activated versus doing the thing that you really want to do? And then the last thing that I put here to understand when it comes to the psychology of procrastination is, of course, the dopamine loop. Your brain is always craving quick dopamine hits. This is why, as a society, we love scrolling. We love being on TikTok. You know, isn't it crazy? I was thinking this the other day, is we can be scrolling TikTok and one video can make us laugh. Then we swipe and the next one makes us really sad. And then the next one makes us angry. And then the next one makes us happy again. It's actually really, really crazy how we are in this constant state of changing our emotions and not really regulating and understanding how that is impacting our body. And so we are forever searching for the dopamine loops. Procrastination often means swapping long-term rewards, so maybe that is launching a service or a product, for short-term comfort. What's the short-term comfort? Maybe it is watching Netflix. Maybe it's reorganizing your wardrobe, reorganizing your desk. Maybe it is baking, even though you've never baked muffins in your life, and now all of a sudden, now's the time to start this. And as I said, at the core, procrastination is a form of self-protection. Something I put here is your nervous system interprets taking the big action, the different action, as a threat to your safety. Even though you consciously know, I want to make X amount in my business, or I want to get this pay rise, I need to do this thing. If you are so wired to stay in that mode of doing the same thing, and your brain has prioritized that, and you're not teaching it to do it any different, it will resist every attempt you have at change by distracting you, by delaying you, by convincing you to do it later, to do it next week, to start on a Monday, to start when the new quarter begins, to do it when you're out of your luteal phase. Now, nuance to that. As a woman, I know exactly how hard it is to go into the phase, quick side note, tangent, how hard it is to go into the phase of being in your luteal phase and having to show up, whether it's career, business, life, etc. So I understand that. There's nuance to everything I'm saying. But one thing that I actually shared with my members, and I'll share with you now, is I was speaking about nervous system capacity and receivership, and what it means to be able to receive and open your capacity, and not just money, but receive compliments and other things. But in regards to that, it's about also understanding, why do I keep choosing the things that aren't benefiting me? Why do I keep choosing the things that aren't benefiting me? And do you know what the answer is? Because in some way, shape, or form, it does benefit you. There is always a payoff to staying where you are. And I want you to go deeper than, I'm staying here because it's comfortable, familiar. That's a cop-out. What is the true payoff, the true benefit of staying where you are, of not launching that service and making X amount of money? What is the true benefit of not working on the pitch to get the promotion? Because that gives you a little bit, this is where we move into the conscious awareness, because it gives you a little bit more of an insight into why you were doing things. You benefit from every single thing you do, and it's not just about safety when we look at the nervous system and our capacity. It's about, in our 3D external reality, why, if I choose this again and again and again, even though I know that I've wanted to launch this product and I keep putting it off for months and months and months, what's benefiting me from staying here? So every time you procrastinate, ask yourself, what is my brain trying to protect me from now Number one, is it failure? Is it judgment? Is it responsibility? Is it the unknown? And what is my perceived benefit / payoff of staying exactly where I am? Remember, when you are able to name, most people, again, self-awareness, most people just say, I know I procrastinate, or I know that I need to post more content, or I know that I need to do this and book in the gym classes and actually get up and do it. But how often are you taking the time? And this is why part of my membership, half of it is subconscious work, because how often are you actually sitting down and naming what's happening and sitting down and recognizing the part that you are playing in your own suffering? There are 4 hidden drivers of procrastination. Super simple. Let me know if you're watching here on YouTube in the comments if you have any of these hidden drivers. And if you were listening to this, slide into my DMs. Take a screenshot of this episode, tag me in your story and tell me which one you have or what your biggest takeaway is. I would love to hear it. I would love to see it. So number 1, fear of failure. If I don't try, I can't fail. And by the way, every single one of these 4 hidden drivers of procrastination, I still experience. It's not just, every new level is a new devil. Remember that. So wherever you're at in life, business, career, money, relationships, health, wellness, there is going to be new levels to this because you're stretching your capacity. You're doing something different. Always. You can hit the milestone you want and then set a new intention, set a new goal 3 months later. You are still going to experience this because even though you hit that milestone and you've solidified it in your life and you're experiencing it, that now becomes safety, that becomes familiar. This is capacity work. But if you go beyond that, the brain goes and the body goes, well, no, come on, this is now familiar. This is good. I mean, look at the past 5 years. How much have you changed? I hope you changed because that's a sign of you evolving and you doing things differently and you understanding your values as you grow as a human being. But over the past 5 years, how many times has there been a change or shift in the way that you behave, in the way that you act, in your experiences and results? And then if you look back, I don't know if I look back, there's been many times where I have fallen victim to procrastination because my brain and body is just trying to protect me from potential failure, rejection, being misunderstood. So number 1, fear of failure. If I don't try, I can't fail. This is a huge one. I have definitely experienced this one this year. I haven't experienced it as deep as I have this year for the past couple of years. And when we start to position ourselves with, well, if I don't even put myself out there, if I don't even do this thing, if I don't try and change, I can't fail. And so if I can't fail, I'm not going to feel those feelings of rejection or those feelings of people making fun of me or whatever you think. Like right now, I want you to think, what if I was to fail, what do I think are the consequences of that? Because that's where the brain is going, to the consequences. Number 2, fear of success. If I succeed, will I be able to hold it? This is huge. Will I be able to hold it? Will I be able to sustain it, maintain it? It's like all well and good to succeed, but this is a huge one that a lot of my members in the membership actually handle is, okay, I want this success. I know I can get this success. I know the steps to get there, but what if I can't maintain it? That kind of becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy. I guess everything that I'm about to tell you in these 4 hidden drivers of procrastination is you keep telling yourself that it becomes something that you fulfill, right? It becomes something that your language and your behaviors and your habits start to attune to. So again, this is all about being very consciously aware of what are the language loops that are on repeat in your mind, and then what are the behaviors that are actually attached to that. And so have you ever thought this? It's okay, I'm going to get that. I'm going to hit that goal or that milestone. But what if I can't maintain it? So I'm not even going to try. And so this shows up in half-assed doing things. Like, I don't know, let's say you're starting a business and you write out the business plan and you have this fear of success. But then every time to actually go create content or go sell or go pitch yourself, you're doing other things. But because you are, chipping away at making the business plan look so nice, it's the dopamine hit. And this is what makes us mistake busy work for productivity. It's a big sign of procrastination. If I got you to look at your week and honestly look at your week, how much of it is busy work and how much of it is actually productive work? I can't remember if I said that's the difference between busy work or productive work, or if I said procrastination, but it's definitely the difference between busy work versus productive work. So how much of your week is productive work? And I don't mean that you need to be in this constant state of go, 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 always achieving, never slowing down. No, that's how we burn out. That's how we become resentful for what we're creating. But instead, looking at, okay, I've created this, for example, this business plan, and it's all color coded, and I've made a Notion board for it. But now, what's happened in the past 3 weeks to actually move forward? What's actually been done? So if you have a fear of success, ask yourself, do you think if I succeed, will I be able to maintain it, sustain it, hold it? Number 3, perfectionism. It's not ready yet, so I'll wait. I used to be the biggest perfectionist. And something that I'll say, and I'll call you out just because I can resonate, is stop calling yourself a perfectionist for the reason you're not doing something or actioning something. Nothing is, logically, if you look at it, nothing is ever going to be perfect. There is always going to be a new standard. An example I always give is if I was to scroll back in my Canva when I first started my business, and that branding and my fonts and the way that I put together content versus now, imagine if I was just waiting for it to be perfect or look good. I would never have started. I would never have put things out. But there's a progression, and there's always going to be a ceiling. I'm sure maybe in 6-12 months time, I'll change it again. But because there's always going to be something that you perceive as better, it doesn't matter if it's not ready. You need to get started. And this is about stretching your capacity when it comes to achieving the thing you want. Because you can keep saying over and over again, it's not perfect, it's not ready, I just need to wait a bit, I need to tweak. No, get it out there, get feedback, business, career, health, just get it out there. Hiding behind the label of I'm a perfectionist, so I can't yet, I'm a perfectionist. That is a coping mechanism. That is you actually protecting yourself from, again, what do you think is going to happen on the other side of success? We always need to come back to that when we procrastinate. If you were meant to sell on your stories, but you spent the past 2 hours on your couch scrolling, ask yourself, okay, I've spent 2 hours scrolling. Don't shame yourself. Don't judge yourself. Just ask yourself, what am I scared is going to happen? When I ask my members this, it starts with, maybe I won't succeed. And then it goes into the bigger picture, and they get to understand why their body reacts unconsciously to the things that they want to achieve. So perfectionism, it's not ready yet, so I'll wait. Watch that. There is no such thing as perfect. You are always going to have different ceilings, different intentions, different milestones. It is forever evolving, but you can't learn, you can't get the feedback at all. I do a lot of content audits inside my membership. And one thing I say is we're not aiming for perfectionism. We're aiming for you just to get it out, and we collect the data. I always get in my DMs or people saying to me that I, out in real life, quotation marks, is how do you get out so much content, or, how the confidence with the content. I just had to practice, and I had to get it out and out and out and out. This time last year, I thought my content was good. And now I reflect back and I'm like, my content game is way better now. But imagine if I just didn't keep putting it out because I wanted it to be perfect. No, I put it out there and I analyze it and I get the data and I get the feedback. And then the last one is overwhelm. There's too much to do, so I'll do nothing. This is quite literally your body overloading, your brain overloading. And this really, I believe, is about having systems and structures to help handle that and manage what you feel overwhelmed with. Anytime that I feel, and I've learned this about my body over the past couple of years, anytime I feel this sense of overwhelm and I'm at my desk, or I don't know, maybe it's even a Saturday and I feel like there's so many errands that I need to get through or life things, anytime I feel that sense of overwhelm, I always just have to check in and think, do I need to do something to bring myself back to a state of calm? The answer 110% of the time is yes. Whether that's 5 minutes of EFT tapping, an hour of reading. And again, this isn't about procrastinating. It's about understanding, or you can't create and move with intention when you are in a state of overwhelm. But we create overwhelm when we don't know how to manage and regulate our emotions. And so we use it as this defense mechanism. There's too much to do. I'm not going to do anything. And then the shame spiral starts. The guilt starts. I had all day yesterday and I haven't done it. So I want you out of all of these. So we've got fear of failure. If I don't try, I can't fail. Fear of success. If I succeed, will I be able to hold it? Perfectionism. It's not ready yet, so I'll wait. Overwhelm. There's too much to do, so I'll do nothing. I want you to identify which one shows up the most in life. And maybe all of them show up. Maybe you're nodding your head and you're like, ugh, I experience all of these and I can't stop. You can stop. Change your language. You can. You really can work through this. I promise you. I had a video on TikTok the other week. It went super viral and I had a bunch of comments saying, I can't. It was something about self-sabotage and, I can't because I have ADHD, blah, blah, blah. Something that I haven't really spoken about this year, but this year, at the age of 32, I got diagnosed professionally with ADHD, inattentive ADHD. And so something that I can attest for from masking my whole adult life, and I'm 32 now, so that's a long, long time, is you can. You absolutely can. I promise you it is doable, but you need to find the way for you and you need to be willing to show up and do the work. Like, it's not good enough to justify why you can't do something or to keep yourself in loops. You need to be willing to do this work. This work is hard. This work can be taxing at times. But when you understand your pattern loops, your behaviors, and if you are like, I am ready for this, come into my membership. Half of it is about subconscious mastery, understanding your subconscious identity, your belief systems, and your nervous system's capacity. And we work on these things because it's so important in life to stop justifying why you shouldn't do something. Be better than your excuses. Procrastination is an excuse, an unconscious excuse of avoiding what we truly desire in life because subconsciously we're afraid. We're afraid of failure. We're afraid of being judged, of being perceived. But I know that you're watching this or you're listening to this because you want to create the best things in your life. And you are here to create a magical life. Give yourself the spaciousness to do that. And it unfortunately, you can't just use the strategy and the structure and the systems. You have to do this work. It really is that deep. It's just not, the people that say, I know I procrastinate, I'm self-aware, but their life has stayed the same for the past 2 years. I'm like, okay, do better than that though, because you can do so much more in life. So just 4 steps that I want you to think about, really quick framework when it comes to procrastination. Step 1, having the conscious awareness. Notice the exact thoughts and behaviors that start to initiate before you put something off. Write down your delay thoughts and behaviors in real time. Quite literally, get a notepad or get your phone that's probably with you and write down, okay, I was about to sell on my stories and then I went onto TikTok and I started scrolling. Like, stop it. But try and do it before you put something off. This is the hardest stage because the brain is going to wrestle with you and go, no, you're tired, just scroll. Or we'll do it in an hour's time. Or let's just watch one more episode on Netflix and we'll do it. And then it turns into 8 episodes. I've been there. Trust me. I get it. Write it down. And this is where most people that are watching or listening to this won't do this work because it's like, too hard. Or I know when I procrastinate. If you know when you procrastinate, you would be evolving at a quicker rate. Quicker is dependent on your circumstances. So I'm not going to say, X, Y, Z and give you tangibles, but I mean, stop being self-aware. This is conscious awareness. Step number 2, reframe. Translate procrastination as protection, not proof that you're lazy or unmotivated or undisciplined. Replace I'll do it later with something like, I feel resistance because this matters. How much better is that than I'll just do this later? I'll do it on Monday. I will do it tomorrow morning first thing. I feel this resistance because it matters to me. It matters the success that I'm going after. It matters what I want to achieve. I want to lose that 5 kilos. I want to hit $30,000 in sales this month. I want to get promoted. Reframe it. Number 3, micro moves. Break the task into smallest possible next action. Instead of record a podcast, for example, what about you just open your notes app and start making dot points of what you want that podcast to be about? If the main action is getting on my stories and selling, why don't you again get your notes app, write out your dot points, understand what you're going to be saying every story or what you're going to be typing? How can you break it down even more? Because you don't want to make it too overwhelming. Like, okay, now I need to finish off this sales funnel. What are the micro steps to that to get you there? This one really, really helps me. It has helped me so much this year to break things down in smaller chunks because it's so easy for me to be like, okay, I have this big daunting task and it gets too overwhelming. Break it down. Even that is a micro move. Write it, get a piece of paper, get your phone notes, write sales funnel, write all the pieces that you need to do for each part. And then start the first thing. And it will have this flow-on effect. And then number 4, of course, all the time, regulation, anchor safety into your body before taking action. This is what most people skip because they go, yeah. Take 3 deep breaths, center into your body, shake your body about, dance, do a quick 2-minute EFT tapping. How do you regulate your body? The easiest one is the first one. Breathe. 3 deep breaths. You're already breathing. So just make them deeper, make them more conscious. That's what I say to people is, they skip this because it's like, like whatever. But it's like, no, you need to teach something I teach my members is like quite literally hold your hand over your heart and breathe into your body. Become conscious of how your body is feeling. Acknowledge your body. You're living with your body. Why wouldn't you acknowledge it? Like, that's crazy. Like, to breathe and take deep breaths or to shake the stagnant energy out. Do it. Stop doing yourself a disservice by not doing these things that are going to help. And you become someone that can have the conscious awareness, reframe, make a micro move and regulate. In 5 minutes, that becomes a flow-on effect. I promise if you do this every day for the next 30 days, I promise you, I guarantee you are going to see such a shift in whatever you are working towards. Like if you honestly do it. Are you going to have moments where you slip? Yes, of course, you're a human being. But if you can consciously, even if it's like you slipped and 30 minutes is down and you're scrolling TikTok and then you're like, you know what? No. Here's what happens. I was going to sell in my DMs and then I started scrolling TikTok. And now I'm acknowledging that I'm not going to do it later. This resistance is coming up for me because this matters to me. And I'm actually going to get on my phone notes and I'm going to write out the script that I'm going to voice message people. And I'm also going to write out the people that I'm going to send a DM to. And then now, before I open my Instagram app to DM people, I'm hand on my heart, I'm going to take 3 deep breaths. And instead of sitting on the couch where I was scrolling, I'm going to move to my desk or I'm going to move and sit on the balcony and do this. I promise you, I guarantee you start doing this. Everything I'm giving you this year, I have really dialed in on this year. It is the reason I was able to successfully launch my membership, exceed expectations in sales, but also be able to have such a social life. The 5 weeks of launch, I was on like 5 planes, staying in hotels. I had weddings, I had hens party, I was meeting a newborn, I was doing all types of things, all types of socializing, non-stop back-to-back, plus still giving time to my partner as I'm in a long-term relationship. So I think instead of listening to this and not taking action and let me know in the comments, and if you're listening to this, take a screenshot, tag it, post it on your story, let me know, or send me a message. I love speaking to you guys. When I get a message and you say that you have been listening to the podcast, I cannot tell you, it is honestly top 3 highlights of my business ever. It has never, ever changed. Never, ever changed. Because I started this podcast after 6 months of procrastination, by the way. 6 months of procrastination, but now look, Every so often when I look at who's tuning in from the world, I see, my Americans. Actually, shout out to all of you, because you have been at the top of downloads and tuning into the podcast for the past couple of months. Then I've got my Aussies, but I have you all over the place. I've got Poland, Germany, I've got Brazil, I've got Singapore, Indonesia, New Zealand, Paris, whereas like everywhere. South Africa is another big one. You guys are quite close to the top as well. So send me a message, write in the comments, because honestly, it just gives me so much appreciation. Plus, I can keep bringing out more episodes knowing that you guys like this style. Now, at the end of the day, remember that procrastination is proof you're protecting. You're not failing whatsoever. It's not failure. It's a protection mechanism to get you back to your baseline, to get you back to the familiar, to get you back to what you're used to experiencing in life, because the brain wants familiar things. It wants to know and predict what's going to happen, and it's wired for efficiency. Stop trying to push your motivation, or stop trying to create or build more discipline. Yes, sometimes we need more discipline, but that's not the root. It's about understanding, why do the moment I go to sell, I'm scrolling on my phone? Why the moment I edit all of my TikToks, I keep them in drafts, and instead I go work on something that doesn't matter? Question yourself without the shame, without the judgment. Understand why you procrastinate. And I really, really hope that this has helped you, has given you some insight. Let me know. I love that I have chosen to record this and bring this out as an episode. And of course, if you want the support, the workshopping, the calls and the mentorship and the coaching, half of Woman Mastery HQ is all about the subconscious mastery, all about working through these things with support. The other half is, the strategy, the systems, and the structure. I have women that have been in business for years, women who are starting a brand new brand this year, and women in corporate who are looking to pivot. And every week is just packed with support and love and community and moving the needle. If above all you need accountability, the membership is really a no-brainer. All of the details are in the description link below. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in again, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.